What's up, YouTube? It's the Action Figure Grader coming back to you with some vintage mint on card, some die cast, and one playset that all sold on eBay recently. So I've got some recent sales prices for you. As always, thanks so much for watching. I appreciate my Patreon team. They get all my videos 24 hours early, and my patreon.com/actionfiguregrader has all of the details for how to become a member. Let's go ahead and dig right into some amazing vintage items here, and the first one is a 12-back AFA 75 plus R2D2. What a beauty this one was. And here are the sub scores on it: 75, 80, 85. But look how beautiful this one is. Crystal clear blister. It was punched without a price sticker, although it looks like it's got some price sticker residue from where it was peeled off. It does. On the card there, right where Luke and Leia are on the upper right hand corner, maybe some litho damage, which is probably why I got that 75 card score and brought the overall score down, just because of that litho damage. So again, that's a lesson that if you have one of these vintage mint on cards, don't try to peel off the sticker, because it usually does more damage than it's worth. And if the sticker is intact on the card, they're not going to ding you for it. I mean, it's not factored in if that sticker is applied without having to be attempted to be taken off and causing litho damage. But it didn't stop the bidding. It didn't stop the bidding. It sold for $2,050 plus $11 shipping. Actually, I think that price is pretty great for a 12-back A. R2D2. Here's the back of the card there. But overall, great shape, great sub scores for the blister and the card and the figure. Excuse me. 2050 is a pretty good deal, really, relative to some of the other prices we've seen here recently for some of these early 12-backs. Next up was a beautiful unpunched die cast AFA 85 or DCA 85. DCA is the sub company that's underneath CGA and AFA. They only specialize in die cast, as you can see on the label there, DCA. 85 overall score, just an incredible item. 80, 85, 90 were the sub scores for it, but this is the Imperial TIE Fighter on the early 1978 card back. Look how beautiful that is. That looks like a time capsule piece. It was listed for about $1,900 plus $15 shipping, and the best offer that was accepted was $1,585. So the seller came off quite a bit off that list price, so that's kind of surprising just given how high grade that one is. Same seller also had this one in an AFA 80 X-Wing die cast, and this was on the Empire Strikes Back card. A little bit tougher to find those, I feel like. The sub scores were 80, 85, 85. So again, another pristine example of the die cast series, and this one was punched. It was listed for $1,499, and that's the sales price. It sold for $1,500 plus $15 shipping. You got to get that $15 shipping. As you can see right here, it did have a price sticker in the lower right-hand corner of $498. But what a beautiful example of those die casts. I'm always terrified to get one of these die casts mint on card because, you know, they're kind of heavy, and I just worry that they're going to peel right off the card during shipping. And it's probably an unfounded fear of mine. It helps that I don't have that kind of money to drop $1,500 on a mint on card, but it's awfully beautiful. So there was the sales price on that one. Next up, there were some early 20-backs that sold on eBay in an auction, and this seller had 3 different ones, I believe. This one was the Walrus Man with the free Boba Fett offer on there, and obviously the blister on this one was pretty heavily mangled, although it was still factory sealed. Here's the back of it. I think this is the 20-back. I was going to say the E, but this has got the offer extension sticker, which is a little tougher to find, so I'm not sure which one that is off the top of my head, but pretty nice example. It did have some creasing on the card, and obviously the damage to the blister probably would bring this down to probably an overall 70 at best, but that is a beautiful item. That one sold for $357 plus $15 shipping in an auction on November 5th. I think that price was very fair, just given the condition issues. Same seller had this one that was in much better shape. This was the 21-back Hammerhead. The blister on this one looked pretty pristine. It did have a JCPenney price sticker, although it did have a slight crease above Luke and Leia in the upper right-hand corner. It was partially unpunched. You know, it's got a little bit of hang tab still. But what a beautiful blister. I mean, that blister is in fantastic condition, nice and crystal clear. Probably an overall 75-ish, somewhere in there. It had some scuffing on the front of the card there. Obviously, a little bit of damage in the upper right-hand corner, as you can see here in a nice close-up. But that is a gorgeous example, and the price reflected that. It sold for $525 plus $15 shipping. And I think that price was really fair, just given that this is probably an overall 75 or 75 plus condition. He also had this 21-back R5D4 This one, again, had a pretty nice looking blister, although it had a little bit of crinkle going on here and there on it. Probably would bring it down to a 70 or 70 plus is my guess, just given the damage to the blister. Card back looked great, you know, partially. No, I'm sorry, I take that back. This is an unpunched example. I thought it was partially unpunched like the other one, but this one was fully unpunched, or fully punched, excuse me. And then you can see the damage on the blister there. So the price reflected that again. I mean, $315 is a great deal, just given that we documented a couple of them that were high grade that sold for anywhere from $1,000 to $1,200 here recently. So $315, just given the condition issues on that one, was a fantastic deal. This one was another beauty. This was the 31 back B Princess Leia Organa, unpunched, beautiful card. I mean, this is just an incredible condition. Here's a nice close-up, as you can see there. This one looks like the brown-haired Leia, if just based on the photos. It's got that slight brown tint to the hair and to the belt. So I think that would be what that figure variation is, most likely a Hong Kong. And here's the back of the card. Really nice example. I mean, this is probably an 80 plus or maybe even an 85 overall. I mean, this is just a really, really nice ESB example for Princess Leia Organa. $13.75, took that one home, free shipping. I thought that was a great price. Next up was a 32 back B Darth Vader, and this was graded 75 overall. 80, 75, 80 were the sub scores from Collector Archive Services. Really nice unpunched example with a price sticker. That one sold in an auction for $625.99 plus $11 shipping. I thought that price was very fair for a clear blister, you know, upper grade ESB Darth Vader. Just tough to find those ESB Vaders, and in general, they tend to command big money. I think if this was an 80, this could have easily sold for over $1,000 pretty quickly. Next up, I've got a 32 back IG-88. This one did have a yellow blister. It did have a little bit of price sticker residue in the upper right-hand corner, as you can see, and it was punched, but the blister was in great shape just despite that yellowing, just a slight yellow tint to that one. But a very nice example. That one sold for $176.50 plus $15.80 shipping. Now, again, if this one was a clear blister, I bet you could probably double, if not triple, that sales price. IG-88's clear blister on an ESB card back, they just can command pretty big money. So I think that's what held the price back for the most part, was the yellow blister. This one just sold. This one was a ESB 41 back A survival kit offer R2 D2. And this one was a beautiful example. Clear blister, great shape overall. Price sticker, but unpunched. And it did not last long on the market. It sold very quickly. $785 took that one home. And here's the back of the card. That's one you don't see pop up very often. And, just a really clean example. And I believe the 41 backs were the last ones that had R2-D2 before they switched over to the sensor scope. So really nice find there and great buy. Here was a 41 back E Star Destroyer Commander. This one also was unpunched. Had a slight scratch on the front of the card, as you can see right there in the upper right-hand corner, but clear blister. It did have some mangling going on the stem of the blister, so that's probably what held the price back, but still sold for $270 plus $15 shipping. Next up was another beautiful IG-88. This one sold for $1,000, and I keep looking at it, trying to figure out if this is a clear blister, but I think this is a yellow blister, very slightly yellowed. Revenge of the Jedi sticker offer, 48 back C, slightly unpunched again, with a price sticker of $349. But that's a gorgeous example, just very slight yellowing to it. $1,000 is a big number in my mind. $25 shipping on that one, but probably an overall yellowed 80 plus, if not an 85. I mean, it was very, very clean. And again, it goes back to what I was just talking about with that other 32 back that sold for quite a bit less. But this one was a yellow blister, as you can see there very clearly in this side profile. But nevertheless, it's a beautiful IG-88 on a tough-to-find card back. Next up is a transition card, free Neon Numb 48 back Return of the Jedi FX7. This one did have a crease, and then it also had some sticker damage from where the sticker was attempted to be removed over by the Neon Numb offer. Clear blister, though, which is always nice. My biggest concern was this right here. It almost looked like the blister was starting to peel away a little bit from the card. There was also a crease right here. You can see the damage right there, and then obviously up there. So quite a bit of damage to this card, probably an overall 70 at best, assuming that this is not a recard. It just looks like some damage from where potentially the blister was pulling away. But that one still sold for $255 on 32 bids on November 6th. Next up was a Luke Jedi unpunched 65 back made in Taiwan. You can see the pretty heavy damage around the hang tab there. Just a lot of creasing going on there. The blister was actually not too bad though. Usually these really heavily yellow, but this one wasn't too bad at all. Iconic card back, beautiful example. Probably an overall 70s, my guess, maybe 75 if you're lucky. The list price was $600 free shipping, and it sold for $485. So, again, I think what held the price back on that is just all the damage around the hang tab there. But, I want to include lots of different items and stuff that's been selling, and it doesn't all have to be pristine. This one was a 77 back Greedo, and this is the Made in Spain variation. Tougher to find that one. We've talked about this at length on the channel in the past. It's got that kind of matte finish on the back. And then in the lower left-hand corner, under action figures sold separately, it says Made in Spain. So these are the PBP figures inside, and they've made these Return of the Jedi card backs with the Spanish figures in the Spanish factory for all of the different Cantina creatures. So this Greedo was unpunched. It sold for $177 plus $15.80 shipping. That's a pretty good deal in my mind for a pretty clean-looking example. What held it back was obviously that crease that goes right through Greedo's head on the front of the card back. And, I think if it was an overall 85, you could probably easily double, if not 2.5 times that price. Next up was a Return of the Jedi R5-D4, and I got really excited. I was like, oh my gosh, this is what I've been wanting. But this one had a cracked blister, unfortunately. So you can see right here, the blister did have a big crack going down it, and that held the price down. It still sold for $233.33 plus $15.80 shipping, but such a bummer that blister cracked, but that's what you got to be careful of with a lot of these Return of the Jedi card backs with yellow blisters. Those blisters turn super brittle, and if they don't have the inner tray holding that figure inside, they're going to bounce around. And, what's going to happen is something like that where, these figures have a very sharp foot. The R5s have a sharp foot here, and it just busted right through that blister, unfortunately. But still sold for $233 despite the cracked blister. I think now's a good time to also mention if you have any collections to sell, if you have any mint on cards, loose figures, loose graded play sets, vehicles, whatever you got, you can reach out to me at actionfiguregrader@gmail.com, and I can put you in touch with qualified, trusted sellers that do buy collections away from eBay, saves you eBay fees. And I've had a lot of collectors and a lot of subscribers to my channel do that and been very happy. Next up, we've got a 65 back Yoda. Oh my goodness, what a beautiful example. One little crease there, but look how crystal clear that blister was. Awfully nice. That is a beautiful example. Free Emperor offer. Very clean card. That one sold for $558.88. So, actually, I think that price was pretty good, assuming all of this is legit. It looks legit, just looking at it, but I think high grade, if this had been graded, you could probably double that price pretty easily. I've seen some high grade examples with a clear blister, Return of the Jedi card back for Yoda, sell for anywhere from $1,000 to $1,500, believe it or not. And again, that was a long time ago, kind of pre-market settling down, flattening. So maybe this is the new normal. Hopefully that's the case, because that's a pretty fair price in my mind for a clear blister Return of the Jedi Yoda. $558.88 plus $8 shipping. This was a lot of 5 different Return of the Jedi cards, all yellowed blister. We had Lando Skiff, Logray, Bouche, Tebow, and Nikto, all on yellowed blister Return of the Jedi card backs. Here's a good photo of it right here. And they were all in pretty decent shape overall, though. And they sold in an auction for $366 plus $13.45 shipping. That's a pretty good deal for 5 different Return of the Jedi mint on card figures. I didn't assess the condition too much, but to get any kind of lot of 5 vintage mocks for that price, I think was a fantastic buy. That's less than $100 a card back, and a pretty good buy. Next up was a UKG 80% open, unused contents, Sears exclusive Jabba the Hutt. So the Jabba the Hutt used this kind of like drawing type of box, not the full color box that we were used to in the U.S. market. It was kind of more of like an overstock look to the box. But this one was unused content, so it was no longer sealed, but it was graded qualified 80%. Beautiful box there. That one sold for 850 pounds, which is $975 US plus shipping. But that's an item you don't see come up very often, and it sold fairly quickly. Next up was a Tusken Raider. This was on a 77 back A. This is the hollow cheeks version. As you can see there, it's got the standard cheeks to that one, a very yellow blister, but the card was in pretty good shape overall. Just some light creasing in the lower right-hand corner as well as in the upper right-hand corner. It was an unpunched card with a price sticker. It was listed for $450, and the best offer that was accepted was $383 for that Tusken Raider. That's an item that continues to hold its price pretty well. Next up was the last 17 figure. We got Lumet on a beautiful crystal clear blister. This was made down in the Mexico Lily Letty factory. Figures made in Mexico, as you can see there in the bottom on the back of the card back. And it also had that factory punch right near Anakin, the Anakin offer. But a pretty clean card overall, probably an overall low grade 80 would be my guess. That one sold for 215 pounds, or about 246 US dollars plus shipping. Next up was a Luke on a Power of the Force card, another last 17 figure. This one sold in an auction, but only one bid, 355 pounds, or about 406 US dollars. Had some, yellowing to the blister, which we come to expect, some light creasing around the hang tab, as well as a price sticker on the front of the card. But pretty low data point, really, for a mint on card, last 17 Luke Battle Endor poncho. Usually they go for quite a bit more than that, so I think that was a pretty fair price for like a 75 grade Power of the Force Luke. Finally, I wanted to show you this one. This one was a Hungarian Boba Fett bootleg that was advertised as a mint on card. Now, I have no idea if this is legitimate or not, but it was at auction, and then somebody made an offer on it, and it sold for 1,800 Canadian dollars. So, I don't know what that equates to roughly. I think it's probably about 1,500 US. It looks legit, but several of you did reach out to me and say, hey, this one's at auction in case you're interested. I was like, well, I'm surprised if it's at an auction and somebody started it at $100. So I don't know this seller. I'm not trying to accuse him anything. The figure certainly looks like a legitimate Hungarian bootleg Boba Fett, but that one did sell for 1,800 Canadian dollars. So I'm assuming it's legit, but at first blush, I talked to a couple of you. I said, "Nah, there's no way that's legit. I would never start that at $100." But who knows? Maybe someone actually did pay that, and or did want to sell it starting at that price. It was advertised in the description as this is how I got it in Hungary, sold as is. So again, could it be a fake? Yes, there's lots of fake mint on card Hungarian bootlegs out there, like that Biker Scout I showed you in a what to buy video here recently. So this one could be another fake. I don't know, but it looks awfully legit. The figure looks pretty legit to me, but I'm sure someone with more expertise can chime in and let me know if that one was a legitimate item or not. But the final sales price, according to 130point.com, was 1,800 Canadian. That's all I really had for this video. Thank you so much for watching as always, and I'll be back soon.